burned them to the ground, and my phone's battery is replaceable. So far, we've got 31 votes, and not surprisingly, my phone's battery is replaceable as a head, followed by we should have been informed, followed by burn them to the ground, followed by that's okay, and only one person's faith is shaken. Now, I know you're going to have a lot more to say about this. If you scroll down on the right, under fascinating stuff, the first choice is the forums, and the second forum down is poll discussion, and currently, at least the first poll discussion is 30 December 17, or as it says here, apparently 0 December 17. Apple deliberately slowed down iPhones. And, of course, you can join us by giving us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Or toll free at 1-800-790-0415.
And part of the issue is they were responding to complaints that the iPhone would suddenly shut off when your battery gets weak. And so they fixed that by slowing it down when the battery got weak so it wouldn't draw so much power. And
well, it isn't that they did that. It's that they didn't tell anybody.
They didn't tell anybody they were doing that, yeah.
And so what it looks like, whether it's true or not, of course, no one knows. But what it looks like is that it looks like Apple deliberately slowed down older model phones so that you would buy a new one.
They should at least be like the mobile carriers and put it in like the tiny print at the bottom.
Somewhere.
Well, and that's basically what they have done now. That Apple has issued a public statement that batteries are consumable devices, and if they wear out, your phone's going to crash.
Now, I will say this. My phone, I have a Samsung Galaxy S5, and my phone recently began having that exact problem, 35%, and suddenly the phone shuts down. Get to 35% battery, boom, it shuts right down. So I spent $20 on Amazon, bought a brand new battery, popped the back off, popped it in, popped the back on, and now it's like, boom, beautiful. I get the same kind of life out of the battery that I was getting day one when I first bought it, day and a half worth of battery. So, and
that's one of the misconceptions about battery consumption is, 35% sounds like it should last a lot longer. But, when you first get your battery, 100% is, say, 8 hours. And 3 or 4 years later, when the battery is worn out, 100% is 5 minutes.
Right.
So 100% could be 5 minutes. 35% could be 15 seconds.
Right.
That's
exactly
what happened.
right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. So, but now I'm fine. Also, of course, I try to charge my battery more often than when it gets way down because, as many of you know, with the lithium-ion batteries, what ages them is charging. And so it's not the number of times it's on the charge, it's how long it's on the charge. So if you charge it more often when it hits like 50% or even higher, 70%, whatever, the battery actually lasts longer than if you let it get down to zero and then charge it up and let it get down to zero and charge it up.
So what Apple is doing for customers that have the iPhone 6 and 6S, and some people are saying that they should also do it for the 5, but that's, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 6 generations old.
Too bad if that's how, as they have. Now, Dennis Worster said, and by the way, Dennis, we all apologize. Dennis Worster said on Facebook that it should also include the 5 because iOS 11 runs on the 5.
Right.
So if iOS 11 runs on it, and they did this to that phone, they should undo it.
They actually introduced this feature in 10.2, and customers loved it because it stopped their phone from crashing. But so as it stands now, if you have an iPhone 6 or S or Plus or the SE, Apple is reducing the price of a battery replacement. So it used to be $79 to get the battery replaced. They're reducing that to $29 starting sometime in January. We don't know what's going to happen if you already did get your battery replaced or if you already bought a new phone because you thought your phone was broken, not just the battery.
Right, and that's what these lawsuits are saying.
Yeah.
People, instead of spending even $79, they spend $800 on a new phone thinking it was a problem.
Rebate.
Well, we'll see what happens.
And they've done that in the past. And Apple's also said in this statement that they're going to enhance the way the battery level works, so it won't just tell you a percentage now. There already have been third-party tools, and in fact, the company that found this issue is one of them that makes these third-party tools that give you a more detailed battery health. It gives you the percent of charge, it gives you the cycle count, and so it tells you all this stuff rather than just 80%.
Right.
So is 80% 6 hours or is 80% 10 minutes?
Right. Exactly right. And that's the problem. So we'll see. We'll keep you informed as more information comes out. But right now there are lawsuits, and they are looking to become class action lawsuits. I'm not a lawyer. I don't even play one on television anymore. But apparently, you sue somebody and say, "I want this to be a class action lawsuit," and then boom, it is.
There are X number of people
who have to
in this class that have the same problem. So instead of having a million individual lawsuits, they have one big lawsuit.
Right.
That was the whole point of it. But yeah, trying to ask to be a class, the judge has to decide if there is a class.
Right. All right, to the phones. Our first caller is Brian from Rochester, New York. Hi, Brian. What's up?
Hi there. Just a second. Hang on, guys. Hang on.
Yep, not a problem.
What I'm telling you, stupid phone. I turn off my speaker. Okay.
Did you surprise yourself that you had called in? Is that what you didn't know you called in?
Oh, no, I called in, but I had it on speakerphone, so I didn't have to hold it up to my ear the entire time while you were going on about this unfortunate incident.
Yes.
I'm calling for a friend. That sounds ridiculous, doesn't it?
That you have a friend? Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does. But this friend happens to be have a severe hearing loss, and so calling into a radio station is pretty almost impossible for him.
Yep.
But I've had a similar problem. Now he's working with a PC, Windows 10, and he was using Microsoft Word to do a doctoral dissertation, or doctoral paper, 20-page paper. Types it all in, all ready to go. He's trying to send it electronically to the professor. All of a sudden, the monitor, as he says, had an atomic reaction. Crackle, snap, boom, the thing reboots. The paper comes back up in paragraph alphabetical order.
Wow!
All his saved files are gone.
Wow!
Where did all the save files go?
Nobody knows. That's why they call it the ether. It's gone. Yeah. They could not find them. They could not retrieve them. They could not.
There is an alphabetized command in Word that will do that for you.
I'm sorry?
There is an alphabetized command in Word that will alphabetize your document.
Well, they couldn't find any way to unalphabetize it. They wound up printing the entire thing, physically cutting it into paragraphs, reordering it, and having somebody else type it for them.
Yeah, well, yeah. I have never...
It was similar. I don't use Word, but I'm working along, and all of a sudden I get the same little atomic reaction on the monitor, snap, crackle, and the thing reboots, and it's reset all my graphics. And they're bigger. The resolution on the screen, all the icons are bigger, everything's bigger, and I couldn't do anything to reset them until about 3 weeks later, snap, crackle, pop, boom, and it reset them all the way they had before.
Okay, that's not normal. I'll be honest with you.
PRAM battery? Or CMOS battery on a PC?
That would be too easy an answer, right?
Well, I would wonder if it has something to do, particularly since it's now winter, with static electricity. I have always said people should compute naked.
And shave.
And shave.
Shave. See, that wouldn't help you. Now that's static generated anyway.
Great. Entire body, 5 o'clock shadow. Nice. Here's the thing. If you've got, and of course you might not notice it, but because it wouldn't necessarily be a particularly large charge as far as a human being is concerned, but for a keyboard connected to a motherboard, it could easily be a huge charge. My first suggestion is always everybody listening should have one of those plastic, what they used to call, and I'm sure it's a completely non-PC thing to say now, but secretary mats.
An anti-static mat.
Yeah.
Let's call it that.
Well, plastic mat. It doesn't, anti-static is better.
Desk blotter.
No, that's on the desk. That's separate. Now we're going to talk about that next. But first, one of those mats that you put underneath the chair.
Yeah.
Anti-static is best because then when you walk to sit down in your chair.
Yep.
Yeah, you're building up.
That's so you don't put ruts in the carpet.
Well,
Yeah.
that's theoretically it, but it
Yeah.
also gets rid of the static electricity.
Yep.
So when you sit down, you don't have any. The second thing you could do is put an anti-static strip across the where you rest your wrists, which of course you shouldn't do anyway, but everybody does, which will prevent you from having a static buildup from the chair and whatever clothing you're wearing. The shirt that I'm wearing today is particularly staticky for some reason. When I put it on, it just started to snap and crackle itself, and I thought, I'm about to teleport somewhere. I don't know what's quite going on.
Right. Yeah.
But definitely, as far as all of that is concerned, I would start with static electricity because this is the season.
And there is a keyboard combination for sorting. It's Alt-H-S-O. Alt-H-S-O, which takes you to the home menu, the paragraph command, the sort command. So theoretically, he could have hit that accidentally, but that'd be really hard to hit 4 keys accidentally in the right order.
So
I've seen people do it.
Right. Now, as far as preventing this from happening again, the first thing, of course, is that static. The second thing is if it continues to happen after you put the anti-static stuff down, then you need to get some electrician in to check your wire, not necessarily your wiring, but your electrical, the outlet itself.
You can get a simple ground detector at a store.
Right, but
and if it says it's not grounded, then you need the electrician.
Right.
Yeah.
So you need to know if it's grounded, but an electrician will also have. I forget what the technical term is, but basically to make sure that the electricity is smooth and constant.
Right. No spikes.
Right.
The building he lives in is pretty old, so.
Right, and then the third thing is backups. Having thousands upon thousands of backups.
Oh yeah.
On a different drive.
Well, but the basic thing here is you can have Word save backups automatically, but it overwrites each backup as it does it.
Right.
And so you really only have one backup. Even if you save every 30 seconds, you've still only got one backup. Every once in a while, you should stop. When you're writing, you stop and take a drink of water. You stop and stretch. You stop and try to actually think. And every time you do that, you should have a window open where you can copy that backup file and paste it into another directory.
Mm-hmm.
So that you've always got a separate backup. And I realize that's a problem because it's manual.
I've had a hard time trying to get my wife to just hit Command S to save at all. She'll type for hours and never save the document.
Right.
So when you stop and think, you're going to type your next paragraph, hit Command S, save.
Right. It doesn't take long to make that a habit.
Yeah.
But saving regularly is important.
Then she says print and it crashes and loses it all.
Yeah. All right. You want to stay on the line or you want to be done? We got to take a break.
No, I'm done.
All right. Thanks.
Alt-H-S-O.
Yep. We're going to take a quick break. Back in just a couple of minutes with Steve Ray, Michael Oden, me, Nick Francesco, and you. 23 minutes after the hour. Soundbites, member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbites.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Contributions over the years made through our pledge drives have brought great programming to our listeners. Creating a legacy gift to benefit Jazz 90.1 builds a bridge from one generation of public radio listeners to the next. Please remember Jazz 90.1 in your will, trust, or general estate plans, and join our Jazz 90.1 Legacy Society. You can also find out more by visiting www.jazz901.org.
Hi, this is Dick Robinson. If you're having a hard time finding the music you love, the Great American Songbook, Join me, will you, for American Standards by the Sea. We think it's the best music ever recorded, and you can hear it every week. Listen Sunday mornings at 10, Tuesday nights at 6, right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Nick Robinson's American Standards by the Sea.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by City Newspaper, on stands each Wednesday. City Newspaper offers weekly calendar listings for area lectures, workshops, exhibits, special events, all genres of music, film, and more. City also offers their movie page with extensive film reviews. For more information, you may visit rochestercitynewspaper.com or find them on many newsstands throughout the city.
Would you like a tax deduction for 2017? All while supporting your favorite jazz radio station? When you donate to Jazz 90.1, you get a tax deduction, while at the same time you're supporting the great jazz programming you love on Jazz 90.1 and Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues Radio. You can call 966-JAZZ or you can go online to jazz901.org, but you have to donate before the end of the year to get the tax deduction for 2017. Call 966-5299 or visit jazz901.org to make your tax-deductible contribution to Jazz 90.1.
And now, a check of your Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Mostly cloudy and cold today with a bit of snow, leaving a dusting to an inch, the high 15 to 20. However, heavier lake snow later this afternoon into tonight will accumulate 3 to 6 inches on average by Sunday morning. Temperatures will drop back through the teens into the single digits and hold there on Sunday with additional lake snow. There will also be areas of blowing and drifting snow tonight into tomorrow. And New Year's Eve will likely be one of the coldest here on record. I'm Kevin Williams on Jazz 90.1.
And it is 18 degrees at the Greater Rochester International Airport, 21 here in Greece at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, I'm Joelle Van Buren. Please join me every weekday morning from 7 till 10 here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Steve Ray.
And I'm Michael Oden.
And at 27 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bytes. And I'm wondering if there are any lip readers watching the YouTube video while we're in the break.
Break, maybe.
Back to the phones. Our next caller is Andy from Greece, New York. Hi, Andy. What's up?
Hey, Nick. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. Sounds like they did.
We did. How about you?
Oh, wonderful.
Good.
And Happy New Year to everybody.
You too.
Your mic is live when you're on hold waiting to get on the air. I didn't have to read lips. I could hear all the comments.
There you go. Nice.
I forgot I was supposed to call about the Google meeting. We'll get to that later.
Yep.
You left off one option on your survey.
What?
My phone is an Android.
Right. Well, that generally is covered by my battery is changeable because certainly no iPhone can. No, that's true. The old ones. The very old ones. No?
They're not user replaceable.
Right.
But there are some of the new Android phones from some of the flagship companies are making non-user replaceable batteries,
I know. That
too.
makes me very unhappy.
Like mine.
And they're removing headphone jacks on the Androids.
Yep.
So they're copying Apple again.
Well, once Apple
way.
made it okay to save a couple of bucks by porking off every consumer, then everybody else did it too.
Well, it lets consumers save money. You were talking about charging frequently rather than let the battery get very low.
Yeah.
Kind of a corollary question to that. Does it hurt it if you leave it on the charger?
It depends on the charger.
And the battery.
And the battery.
The well-manufactured ones will recognize the charging is complete and stop.
Okay, what drives the question is I like to plug it in when I go to bed at night, and sometimes it doesn't have to charge more than half an hour to an hour, but I'm not going to get up and unplug it.
Right.
I do it in the morning. So should I wait until I'm up and let it run for whatever it needs to run and then unplug it quicker, or would it hurt it? I know Jerry says just plug them in and leave them in all the time, but that's Jerry's way of doing it.
Well, and it's if you're using a name brand battery charger with a name brand cable, not the the cheap, too cheap stuff that may not have the overcharge circuitry protection built in.
Right. So any basic name brand battery these days with the name brand controller will indeed, or rather charger, will indeed shut itself off when it's done.
So if you're using the original one that came with the phone, no problem.
You shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah. There's been a big problem on Amazon, especially. I think it was Travis Orbandy from Google tested a lot of the USB charging cables on Amazon and found that a lot of them were counterfeit. So even if they had the made for Google or made for iPhone badge on it, that wasn't really part of the program. And many of them were just made so poorly. You know, the retail manufacturer price is $30. You can buy one on Amazon for $1. It's something's got to be wrong with it, and he was able to find that most of the cables you buy are counterfeit and very poorly constructed, and he'd be scared to use them.
Yep.
Interesting. Static charge.
Yeah.
This is going to sound really silly, but we actually tested it and it did work. We had several people back when I was working that certain times of the year they would just zap their computer on a regular basis.
Yep.
And one of our maintenance techs, and it was really seemed silly, but all of our office chairs had metal bases on them. So he made a chain out of paper clips.
Yep.
And he would loop it around the bottom of the chair and make it long enough so it dragged on the carpet.
Yep.
And it would ground the chair.
Yep. That's all you have to do is ground it. So you can either put down a static mat, which will ground you. You can use the clips, which will ground you. You can spray anti-static spray, the stuff that people use on their clothing.
Mm-hmm.
You can spray that around, but that gets expensive eventually and stinks.
And not right on the computer.
And not on the computer, but on the floor around the chair. Or, as I said, you can compute naked. What I did was took the carpet out of my computer room. Problem solved. That was easy enough. But
the chair rolls better that way too.
It does that, and I got a static mat down anyway because again it rolls better, and I don't have to ruin my Rochester floors. But basically, whatever you can do to lower the static that you have in the winter, particularly, the better off you'll be, because zapping your computer, even if it's a little shock to you, it's a huge shock to your electronics. Because, there's what is it, thousands of volts and no amps.
Yeah.
That's how it works. In a static charge, but a computer's only used to 5 volts.
And the chips are usually working on microvolts or picovolts.
Right. So when you send hundreds or thousands of volts through it, you got a problem. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. And last, since you reminded me, this coming Thursday is the Rochester Google's meeting.
Yes, it is.
First of the year, over at St. John's Meadow at 7 o'clock. We discuss all things Chrome and Google and Android, and probably even answer a whole bunch of Windows questions while we're at it.
Whatever people ask, we'll answer.
Yeah. If it comes up, it gets taken care of.
Yep.
And everybody's welcome. And did I leave anything out?
So for those of you who picked up a new phone, a new Google-based phone, or a new Chromebook for the holidays, this is your chance to come and meet like-minded people and maybe even get a few questions answered. Thanks, Andy.
Not a problem. We'll see you Thursday.
Have fun.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about the Rochester Googles group. We call ourselves the Googles group, but we talk about a little bit of everything. And certainly all things Google, which is dang near everything these days. But we do have a nice mix of people with a nice mix of experience, and it's a lot of fun.
We should also point out that Thursday the 4th is Solar Perihelion Day, if I can pronounce that. At 9:17 a.m., we reach our closest point to the sun. We're 3 million miles closer than we are at our farthest point.
Right.
Right in the middle of winter.
Right in the middle of winter.
So the axial tilt.
It's all about I was about to say, it's the axial tilt.
The axial tilt makes a lot more difference than the distance from the sun, although poor people in Australia.
Well, it's only 3 million miles.
It's only 3 million miles, yeah. That's astronomical. People in the southern hemisphere, Australia and the big deserts, because it's summer and perihelion, they get it worse
Right.
down there than we get during our hottest summer.
Right, but 3 million miles is what, 0.4 AU? I mean, it's nothing.
Yeah.
All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Mark, also from Greece, New York. Hi, Mark. What's up?
Hey, Nick and everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Two things. One, if you recall, I was telling you about my gateway computer that wouldn't take the any of the updates since the original Windows 10 update, and we determined that maybe it was a video problem because I would get a blank screen so far into the update. And,
right.
It happened to me a few weeks back again. The update came through, and I was leaving to go to a family party, and I just let it go. I just left the computer running. And it came home about 5 hours later, and I had a blank screen, like I always do, and I had to hard boot it to get it to come up again, and the update continued, but it went past the 85%, and 2 hours later I look, and I had the Fall Creators Update.
Wow.
Yeah. After 4 attempts before that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if it needed to sit and churn.
Well, more important, right, because more important than is the screen blank is the hard drive running.
Right.
Which is one of the issues I have with Macs. They have no indication that there's a running hard drive, and that's a problem.
Well, but PCs don't either now. We always used to like those blinky lights.
That's now, I was about to say, and that's now a thing on many PCs. They don't have any light that says...
And the hard drives are so quiet now, you often can't hear them over the fan.
Right. I remember the days when you couldn't hear yourself over the hard drive.
Yeah.
At least you knew they were running.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, wow, congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, I was very happy. Like I said, I don't know, maybe it needed to churn for a while to realize that it needed to do something. And when I did the reboot, maybe it was stuck having to do the reboot.
Yep.
And I rebooted it, hard booted it, and it continued. And usually it would continue to like 85% and then just freeze. This time it didn't do that.
Nice.
And it went all the way through, and I got it, and it's running great.
Did you ever check for video updates?
I didn't. I was just going. I was going to after the new year, looking to getting just an inexpensive video card.
Right.
Instead of using the onboard video, and see if that solved the problem. And it solved itself.
That's what counts.
And it's been running great ever since.
Excellent.
Second of all, I recently had back in the fall had a TV replaced through my replacement program through Best Buy, and the replacement I got was a UHD TV, a 4K TV.
Nice.
And I liked it until I got a 4K Blu-ray player, not an upconvert player, but a real 4K player. And put a 4K Blu-ray in, and I was blown away.
Good or bad blown away?
Absolutely blown away. Beautiful.
Nice.
That HDR kicked in, and I thought it was watching the Technicolor of the 50s.
Yep.
Unbelievable. And what it does to regular DVDs and Blu-rays, it does upconvert them beautifully.
Nice. Nice.
So I'm going to tell people, if you can go out and get a 4K player, if you don't have access to 4K through other means, sometimes Amazon and Netflix has 4K, but they're not always done in HDR.
Right.
Which is high dynamic range color.
Yeah, HDR can almost make better visual than the 4K does.
Yeah. The 4K makes everything nice and sharp and very clean, but the HDR makes it pop.
Yep.
So I would suggest to anybody, I got a 4K player in the end at a deep discount of $89.
Wow.
Out of Best Buy, and I think it's now $99 again. But still a steal. It's not smart, so if you have a smart TV or a Roku, you don't need a smart player anyways.
Right.
So...
Right. How many ways do you need to be able to watch Netflix? I mean, one.
Yeah.
Well, but many of the
exactly.
boxes, the Roku, the Apple TV, now support 4K HDR.
Right.
And Netflix and YouTube and some other content are playing HD 4K.
Well, but we should warn everybody listening that if the thing you're watching is not in 4K HDR, it's not going to look as nice as you expect.
Exactly.
Although the more you spend on the TV, the better it will upscale.
Right. But
yeah, the $2,000 Bravia versus the $500 Sensei.
Right.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. We're going to take a quick break. Back in just a couple of minutes with Steve Ray, Michael Oden, me, Nick Francesco, and you. It's 40 minutes after the hour. It's Sound Bites. It's member-supported Jazz 90.1.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Sound Bites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
But you and I both know the road is my only true friend.
The late Greg Allman.
If you had problems, you had a bad day, screw it. Pick up your guitar, man. You're off into another world, you know. I used to think, God, wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody had a tool like that?
Join Greg, Jackson Brown, his manager Michael Lehman, and producer Don Was as we unveil the emotional final album by Greg Allman. It's Greg Allman's Southern Blood, all access.
Monday, January 1st at 6 p.m. on Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues Radio.
If you want to support Jazz 90.1 a lot, but your budget says only a little will work, there is a way. It's called the Jazz 90.1 Jazz-O-Matic membership. You can support Jazz 90.1 with a monthly gift of $10 or more, while enjoying the many great thank you gifts that we offer. Jazz 90.1 will deduct that amount automatically every month, and should your circumstances change, you can cancel at any time. Support Jazz 90.1 the way you want to, without bruising your budget, Jazz-O-Matically. For more information on becoming Jazz-O-Matic, call 966-5299 or pledge online at jazz901.org.
Debt. If you get in too deep, members of the NFCC, the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, can help you put debt in its place.
Credit cards took charge of my financial life. A certified credit counselor helped me get back in control.
Student loan debt followed me wherever I went. NFCC taught me all I needed to know.
Connect with an NFCC certified credit counselor at your local member agency today. We'll help you put debt in its place. Go to nfcc.org/stopdebt or call 877-410-6322.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Mostly cloudy and cold today with a bit of snow, leaving a dusting to an inch, the high 15 to 20. However, heavier lake snow later this afternoon into tonight will accumulate 3 to 6 inches on average by Sunday morning. Temperatures will drop back through the teens into the single digits and hold there on Sunday with additional lake snow. There will also be areas of blowing and drifting snow tonight into tomorrow. And New Year's Eve will likely be one of the coldest here on record. I'm Kevin Williams on Jazz 90.1.
And it is 18 degrees at the Greater Rochester International Airport, 21 here in Greece at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, this is Otto Bruno. Join me tomorrow from 12 to 2 on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Steve Ray.
And I'm Michael Oden.
And at 43 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bites. And we have Rick from Greece on the line. Hi, Rick. What's up?
Hello, guys. Thanks for your help. Listen, I'm so pathetic on the computer. I couldn't even find that Rochester Google's group for the first Thursday, and I have no idea where St. John's Meadow is.
Okay. St. John's Meadow. Hold on a second. If you look up St. John's Meadows, there's an S on St. John's Meadows. You'll see that it's at 1 Johns Harbor Drive West, which doesn't help you much, but it's off Elmwood Avenue.
Off of Elmwood, okay.
Yeah, it's off of Elmwood, around the corner from Zeb's, which is on South Clinton.
Okay, sure, I know where that is.
Yeah, there you go. So it's just down Elmwood from South Clinton.
Okay.
And like I said, we meet at 7:00.
Right.
And it's Rochester Googles and
whoever runs your G Plus group has not updated the website.
I couldn't even find the website, guys. That's how pathetic I am.
No, you're not pathetic. We don't have a specific.
There's a Facebook group and a Google. The Facebook group is up to date.
There's a Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook is the place. Oh, I have Facebook on this machine. I'm very excited now. Yeah, except I can't reach it because I'm not on the thing. So yes, there is a Rochester Google's Facebook group.
Okay.
So if you
I'll
go
go there,
you'll see all the information about it.
Wonderful.
Jerry,
all right.
you've got the December
Looking
meeting.
forward to hopefully meeting you at the next meeting.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, the Rochester Googles group is a pretty cool group. Good people, lots of interesting information. And like I said, for those of you who picked up an Android device, whether it was a phone or a tablet, or a Chrome OS device like a Chromebook or a Chrome box, this is the way to get some more pretty cool information about it. It's St. John's Meadow, and I forget the building, but it should be on the Facebook site somewhere.
Nope.
Yeah,
and
keep going down. It'll
still
say
the
it on
December
the,
meeting
one
is
of them.
is there.
But that's you should definitely come. We'll be delighted to see you. Always a pleasure to see new people. Our next caller is. Do we have time? Yes. Our next caller is Tom from Rochester, New York. Hi, Tom. What's up?
Hi, guys. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year to you.
I bought it was a 24-inch iMac. I liked it so much, I bought a brand new 27-inch iMac. And everything worked on the 24-inch iMac, and I'm having problems with the 27-inch iMac. My favorites aren't loading. Only thing I have on there is Google. And I was wondering if you guys could help me get the favorites working.
Where are you trying to load them from?
It says that it's supposed to load from the most used sites.
Okay, favorites and most used are two different things. Favorites are the sites that you marked as your favorite. Top sites are ones that will automatically track the top sites you go to.
Okay, I went to bookmarks and I checked show frequently, visit, and favorites.
Right.
But they're not loading. Nothing's loading.
Well, because you're
you haven't gone anywhere yet.
Right. This is a brand new computer, and it doesn't know where to find those favorites.
Did you copy the information from your previous computer?
No, I didn't.
Right. So you're starting from scratch. It doesn't know what your favorites are yet until you start going places.
So can you export
that's
the bookmarks?
That's the thing. I have been going places.
Right.
And
but okay,
nothing's...
hold on a second. Now, your old machine, what is your browser?
What's the browser for?
Safari?
Safari, yes.
Okay. One of the things you can do is export your bookmarks from the old machine.
How do you do that?
And then import them into the new machine. And Steve will tell you how to do
In
that.
the file menu, there's an export command. So on the old machine, you choose the export command to export your bookmarks.
So file. So go to your old machine, open up Safari, and under file, you can export bookmarks.
Okay.
Then that becomes a file on your desktop or wherever you put it. Remember where you put it.
Should I use USB cable or something?
No. Listen to me.
USB flash drive.
You save it somewhere on your computer, on your old computer. Then you remember where you put it and what you called it. Then you copy that file onto a thumb drive, a flash drive, whatever you call them. And then you put that flash drive in your new machine, start up Safari, and go to File and import bookmark.
from bookmark file.
Bookmark file.
Okay. All right. I understand that.
Yeah. Now you could copy everything from the old computer to the new computer using a cable. Some people like that because they get everything like the old one had. Some people don't like that because you get all the cruft and junk the old one had too.
Yeah. See, I don't want that.
Right. So if you really just want the bookmarks, then on the old machine, export bookmarks. And then on the new machine, use the file menu and say import from bookmarks.
Okay.
And in between those two, of course, you put the bookmark file on a thumb drive and move it over. And then you let that whoop and whir for a minute. You may have to restart Safari. I don't know.
The other thing you can do, depending on you can sync bookmarks with iCloud. And so you make a bookmark on one machine, it automatically shows up to the other machine.
Oh, that's nice.
So if on the old machine, if you log into iCloud and tell it to sync to Safari, and then on the new machine, all of the bookmarks from the old one will automatically come in.
Assuming you use the same login.
The same Apple ID to log in on both machines. Yep. And then anytime you make a new bookmark on one of your machines, that same bookmark will go to all your machines.
Okay. All right. Now I got another problem.
Yeah.
I screwed up my email. I was wondering, is there any way that I can start over again?
Who do you get your email through?
Through Google, because I got the what's that, Chromebook?
Sure.
And I got.
All right. How did you screw up your email?
Commands. I typed in wrong commands.
Is it screwed up on the computer or screwed up at Google?
On the computer. On the new one.
In your mail program, you can go to Preferences and Accounts, and then delete the Google Mail account. And that deletes everything from the computer, but not from Google.
Okay.
And then add it back again.
How do I do that?
Open up what is your mail program? Is it the Apple Mail?
That looks like a little postage stamp.
Yes.
Yep. Go to the Mail menu and choose Accounts.
Wait a minute. Let me open that up.
I'll see if I can find instructions online for
Okay.
that too.
I got it open now.
Yep. Go to the Mail menu and choose Accounts.
Accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Whereabouts is that?
It's the third command down in the Mail menu.
Mail menu, third. I don't see it.
It should be About Mail, Preferences, Accounts.
Across the top, you have that little apple in the upper right corner. Next to it is the word Mail.
Right. The Apple menu, the Mail menu, the File menu.
Okay, got it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then Accounts.
Accounts, okay.
And then you pick your Google account in the list. You might have more than one account set up there.
Yes, I do.
Pick the one you want to delete. And then there's a little minus button to delete that account.
Down in the lower left corner of that window.
And it deletes it just from the computer, not from Google itself.
And then you can re-add it again by saying, I want to add a Google account.
With the little plus button.
With the little plus button. And then you can just put in your username and password, and Mail will do all the rest.
It'll download everything back from Google.
All righty. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
All right, have a nice New Year.
You too, Tom. Good luck.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 27-inch iMac, nice product.
Yep.
Nice product.
I'm waiting for the iMac Pro.
What?
The iMac Pro, they started taking orders.
The $5,000 one?
It starts at $5,000.
Yeah, it goes up to 13 or whatever.
Well,
15.
we thought it was going to go to 18.
Oh.
It only goes to 13.
What
Maxed
the
out
heck?
is only 13,000, so we're happy.
Yes, we are.
So we've already taken orders
do you
for
get everything you would have gotten at 18?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The estimates were wrong.
Oh.
The 18-core Xeon, 128 gigs of RAM, a 4 terabyte solid-state drive.
I think that's a first. Something on
Yeah.
Apple is less expensive than
Less than we thought, yeah.
Now,
We've already
need
taken
that.
orders for half a dozen of them.
I don't doubt that. I need that. No, I want that.
Yeah.
Do I need that? Absolutely not.
Hollywood
Am
Video.
I happy with my 8 cores and
Yeah.
my 16 gig of RAM and all that?
Video
Yes.
editing studios. You're doing TV commercials. Hollywood
Right,
video editing.
right.
You need as many of those as you can.
You need right. That's going to be minimum in
Yeah.
about a year.
So what was interesting is it was a company had to spend their budget for the year. So end of the year, companies have to spend all their budget so they get more money next year.
Oh, I used to love end of year sales.
If you have money left
selling.
over, that means you didn't need as much, so we won't give it to you next year. So they had to spend their budget, and these hot new computers just came out.
Yep, nothing wrong with that.
We don't know if they're going to ship yet.
Right.
I think shipping is 6 to 8 weeks.
Them the end of the year.
Counts.
That's what counts. Yep. I once had a guy come up to me. It was New Year's Eve, snowing like mad. I had just locked the store. I hear behind me, "Are you open?" I said, "No, sir, I'm not." He said, "Let me rephrase that. I have $10,000 to spend before midnight. Are you open?" "Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we are." And this is in '79 when $10,000 meant $10,000.
A lot of money. We're
yes,
fighting
sir.
with ourselves to see should we be open Sunday for a couple hours maybe. So hi, Jackie. You're at work today.
Hi, Jackie.
We're hoping everyone comes in today.
Everybody go there today so that these poor people can take tomorrow off.
We're going to have 2 days off in a row. Wow.
Unbelievable. In retail, that's magic.
Yes.
Woohoo! That is magic. That's why I got out of retail. I was at Easter Sunday. I was at a guy's house fixing a hard drive, and I thought, my wife's at home with a house full of people, and I'm here doing this. No, I'm an idiot. I'm done now.
One of the things we're seeing with the iMac Pro is it's the space gray color. It's darker than my silver laptop I've got in front of me here. And the keyboard and mouse that come are both the space gray. You cannot buy them separately.
Really?
People have already asked, "Oh, I want the black, space gray key," because all the keyboards now are silver.
Yeah.
So it's the new color.
Right.
How's someone going to know I bought the new thing if it's the same color?
Right. Right, and that was the problem people had with a couple of the iPhones.
Yep.
They look like the old iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're a quarter of an inch bigger, or, you can't tell at a glance.
Yep.
It should have 6S printed across the back.
It doesn't even have it on the back anymore. Just iPhone.
Right.
I guess it saves them, what, a penny, a quarter of a penny?
When you sell a gazillion
Yeah,
of them,
that's
that adds up to some money right there. But yeah, everybody complains about not having enough processing power and enough storage and everything else. That's why I have a Chromebook. It's not about what's in the computer. It's about what's in the cloud. And Google is fast and convenient. I do all my – we talk about backups and editing and hiccups and things like that. I do all my editing. It saves like every 5 seconds automatically. So even if I don't save, it saves. If I suddenly get cut off, I've been, working on the Great American Novel, or at least a Guru Guide, in a restaurant or a hotel or whatever, not a restaurant, cafe, or a hotel or whatever, and suddenly the internet goes out, I lose at most 5 seconds of work.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
We did get the service manual for the new iMac Pro, and we're seeing some annoying things on it already. The 27-inch iMacs have a RAM door on the back with user installable RAM slots. The new iMac Pro has user installable RAM slots, but no door. So it's not user installable anymore. Because it would ruin the clean lines of the back, we think.
Oh, you know what?
So now to replace the RAM.
I can't say this on the air, so
yeah.
Apple can, and that's what I mean.
Yeah. So now to replace the RAM, like we have to do in the 21-inch model. So the LCD and the glass panel are glued to the back panel to make it really thin.
Right.
We have to cut through the glue, take the LCD off, take the logic board off, then we can replace the RAM cards.
So now what would have been a 5-minute job
is 2
for
hours.
$100 is now a 2-hour job for $300.
Right.
Right.
And from what we can tell, the RAM is in almost a similar spot that it is on the other iMac 27s. It just didn't put the door there. So the door is hiding behind the foot on the current models. And so the RAM is off to the side a little more on the Pro, so the door wouldn't be symmetrical anymore. So there was probably a design decision somewhere. Do we move the RAM to make it symmetrical, or do we have an off-center door? And Johnny Ive probably said, clean lines, no door.
Johnny Ive needs to take his pills. That music tells me we're done for this hour, but ho-ho! You lucky people, you get to do this again in just a few minutes, because we have a whole nother hour of this nonsense. You can give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Or, of course, toll free at 1-800-790-0415. And we will be back with a whole lot more of Steve Ray, Michael Oden, me, Nick Francesco, and you. It is 59 minutes after the hour. It is Sound Bites. It is the truly great and truly grateful to you that we remain member-supported Jazz 90.1. We will see you on the other side.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
WGMC Greece Rochester, a public service of the Greece Central School District, Jazz 90.1.
Online at jazz901.org.
Many Americans will be ringing in the new year dealing with frigid temperatures. Meteorologist Allison Chinjar.
Over 70 million people under some type of wind chill advisory, watch, or warning at this moment. The first wave of cold air moving through, the second wave pushing in Sunday into Monday, and then we have another wave of cold air that will be pushing in as we get, say, Wednesday and Thursday.
Iran's government has warned citizens today against holding what it calls illegal public gatherings as protesters take to the streets. Correspondent Arwa Damon.
Demonstrations in Iran began Thursday night, growing on Friday, spreading across the country, starting off with calls for economic reforms, frustrations with the fact that things like food and gasoline prices have been increasing, but then also taking on a marked tone of direct expression of dissatisfaction with President Rouhani.
Students were arrested in Tehran today. I'm Ann Cates.
Hello, I'm Hector Elizondo, and I want to talk to you about getting older. My body hurts, my joints ache, and sometimes I forget. I forget that doing all your own scenes for a movie isn't always the best decision, especially when you're galloping high speed on a horse named Archibello. So yes, my body hurts, but it's not because of my age. It's because I'm living my life.
Don't let life pass you by. Take care of your brain health. It may just help you stay on top of your game.
Oh, Archibello!
Learn more at brainhealth.gov.
Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues Radio celebrates the life of Greg Allman on New Year's Day. First at 6 p.m., we present a special hour-long look at the life of Greg, hosted by Dan Meir. Following that special, we present a concert by the Greg Allman Band with special guests Scott Sherrard, Lamar Williams, Junior Mack, and Devon Allman from the Laid Back Fest that took place in October of 2017. Join us New Year's Day starting at 6 p.m. for this very special event on Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues Radio.
You see me walking as I pass you by. Don't talk about me, 'cause I couldn't be high.
When it comes to saving money, don't act like a baby.
Goo goo gaga.
Be the boss and make a budget.
I'm the boss, baby.
You're the boss of me.
I am the boss of you.
Are not.
M2.
Are not.
M2.
Need a little help?
Aren't you gonna do any work?
I'm very busy delegating.
Create a personalized savings plan.
We could share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
And get other tools and tips at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Sound Bites, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at soundbites.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Steve Ray.
And I'm Michael Oden.
And at 3 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bites. Yes, for those of you just tuning in, we apologize. We were all one step ahead of the law last week, somewhere in the Midwest. I was actually in the Southwest. And this week, Dave still is lost in the wilds of no man's land, somewhere in the mesas of Arizona. But we're back here to bring you one more hour of the longest-running computer show in the known universe. And our first caller is Dennis. Our first caller of this hour is Dennis from Rochester, New York. Hiya, Dennis. What's up?
This is for Steve. I've got an iPhone 6, and ever since I downloaded iOS 11, I've got a rotating wheel at the top of the phone next to my Wi-Fi symbol. and it's there most of the time, not all the time. But in order to get rid of it, I have to shut my phone off and reboot the phone. What's the deal with that?
Is it kind of like dots chasing each other?
Yes.
That means it's connecting to the internet and transferring data.
Okay, but when it's doing it like for a half hour or an hour or whatever, I mean, I'm not doing anything with the phone. The phone is just sitting.
How big is your photo library? It may be syncing your photos, syncing bookmarks, running a backup. Anything that does internet will spin that little thing.
Okay, except I did not see this. This did not happen before iOS 11. Has anybody else asked you about this, or anything else come up about this spinning wheel?
No, the spinning wheel's been there since iOS began to tell you that that it's doing something on the internet.
Wow. Okay, man, I must have been really out of whack not noticing it up until iOS 11.
Sometimes when you first are setting up your phone, it will run for a long time as it synchronizes all the data through from iCloud, your photos and things like that. There is a way to track cellular data usage, but I don't see a way to track Wi-Fi data usage built in. If you go into settings under cellular, it will tell you how much data has passed over cellular.
Yeah.
But
I try and
not over
shut off
Wi-Fi.
everything that's possible because I mostly, if the only time I use Safari is if I'm at home and I'm using Wi-Fi. Then I don't use it at all. Otherwise, I'm periodically sending a text or doing nothing. But yet I haven't taken pictures in a long time. That's why I'm so curious about this, and I just don't remember seeing that up there. But maybe it's.
It may be syncing your photo library. Do you have Photo Sync turned on, or Photo Stream, or Photo Library? So it's not just Safari; it's any data. So all the iCloud syncing. Could be checking for updates. The 11.2.1 update came out. It could be downloading that. It's anything it does over the internet, and it does a lot over the internet even without having Safari open.
How fast is your internet connection?
40 megabits per second.
Okay.
It's
pretty
Time
quick.
Warner, but not Spectrum.
Right. Well, of course, you don't get that over Wi-Fi. You probably get more like 25 or 27. But still, that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, it's not necessarily something to worry about. It's something's happening in the background. It's checking something. How many third-party apps are you running?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Generally speaking, if they have been, most of the apps on the App Store have been checked by Apple, so they shouldn't be doing anything bad in the background. But you need to think about what it is you've downloaded and what it is they're doing, and are they grabbing data from the internet or sending data to the internet? That's a tough thing to figure out without a lot of additional work, quite frankly.
Yeah, I did see something about this. Other people have inquired about this. I saw that on the internet. But the last question for you is: should I be putting an anti-malware program on my iPhone? I
Always.
have no antivirus, no malware programs on my iPhone at all.
It wouldn't hurt. What was it? Lookout is a good one. The biggest problem you're going to run into is fake messages on the internet. So you're in Safari or web browser, and there's a message that says you have a virus. It's lying, trying to steal your money, and there's no way to stop that with other software because it's an ad. And so you could put an ad blocker in, but then many websites don't work if you have an ad blocker running.
Right. But yes, you should run Outlook or something like it.
Lookout.
Lookout, not Outlook. That's a whole other thing. Lookout in order to keep your phone fairly secure. I run that on Android. Many people run it on iPhones, and it's an excellent program that essentially is a malware checker.
Don't you have a story about several hundred programs just removed from the Google Play Store for doing things they weren't talking, that they didn't say they were going to do?
Right. Well, there's a bunch of programs that are mostly games that track what you're watching on TV by constantly running your microphone and listening to the television. Most of them are games. Names like Pool 3D, Beer Pong, Trick Shot, Real Bowling, Strike Pin, Honey Quest, which features Jumbo, the animated bear.
I thought Jumbo was an elephant.
Jumbo is an elephant, except in Honey Quest, where he's an animated bear.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we saw The Greatest Showman this week. What a movie. Anyway, here's the deal. There are hundreds of these, and Google removed hundreds of them, and the App Store, the Apple App Store, also removed a bunch of them. There are about 1,000 games, messaging, and social apps using the Alfonso software. I know that if you want to know teeth fixed, zap balloons, things like that, many of them can be found by searching for Alfonso, A-L, where is it? I want to make sure I spell it correctly. Blah, blah, blah. There it is, ALPHONSO on the App Store. And then you get a list of those and see if you actually downloaded one of those. It may well be that one of them is constantly sending stuff from your microphone without your permission up to, actually with your permission, because you do have to say, yes, use my microphone.
Wow.
And people just answered yes, yes, yes.
Because they want to
Yeah.
get to the game.
Yeah.
Right.
That's creepy. Okay, well, I'll look out is what I need to get. Okay, that's great. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, there's a... I'll read this at the next... do we have anybody else on the line? No? Then I'll read it right now. At first glance, the gaming apps with names like Pool 3D, Beer Pong, Trick Shot, Real Bowling, Strike, 10-Pin seem innocuous. One called Honey Bear. Honey Quest features Jumbo, an animated bear. Yet these apps, once downloaded onto a smartphone, have the ability to keep tabs on the viewing habits of their users, some of whom may be children, even when the games aren't being played. And yet another example of how companies using devices that many people feel they can't do without are documenting how audiences in a rapidly expanding entertainment landscape are viewing television and commercials. The apps use software from Alfonso, a startup that collects TV viewing data for advertisers. Using a smartphone's microphone, Alfonso's software can detail what people watch by identifying audio signals in TV ads and shows, sometimes even matching that information with the places people visit and the movies they see. The information can then be used to target ads more precisely and to try to analyze things like which ads prompt a person to go to a car dealership. Hint, none of them. More than 250 games that use Alfonso software are available in Google Play Store. Many are also available in Apple's App Store. Most of the tracking is taking place through gaming apps that do not otherwise involve a smartphone's microphone, including some apps that are geared toward children, like Honey Quest featuring Jumbo, the animated bear. The software can also detect sounds even when a phone is in a pocket, if the apps are running in the background. Alfonso said that its software, which does not record human speech, is clearly explained in app descriptions and privacy policies, and that the company cannot gain access to users' microphones and locations unless they agree, which is true, and that's what we were talking about. People just click. The consumer is opting in knowingly and can opt out any time, Ashish Cordia, Alfonso's chief executive, said, adding that the company's disclosures comply with FTC, Federal Trade Commission, guidelines. The company also provides opt-out instructions on its website, assuming you know that they're there and how to get to the website, etc., etc. Alfonso declined to say how many people it is collecting data from, and Mr. Cordia said that he would not disclose the names of the roughly 1,000 games and messaging and social apps with Alfonso software because a rival was trying to hurt its relationships with developers. The New York Times identified many of the apps in question by searching Alfonso Automated and Alfonso Software in the Google Play Store. Mr. Cordia also said that Alfonso did not approve of its software being used in apps meant for children, but it was, as of earlier this month, integrated into more than a dozen games like Teeth Fixed and Zap Balloons from KLAP Edutainment in India, which describes itself as primarily focusing on offering educational games for kids and students. Do you know which of your apps are listening in? Give us a call. 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299. Toll free 1-800-790-0415. And that's it seems so innocuous. Oh, here's a cool game. Pop the balloons, Alfonso, Jumbo the animated bear.
And you play it once or twice, and then ignore it. It's
Right.
still on your phone. It's still doing all this seemingly malicious stuff. Because very few people actually delete stuff when they don't play it anymore.
I actually got a message the other day that said I can't update because there's not enough space, so I had to go delete some crap I haven't run in a year.
That's when it happens.
Yeah.
And now the minimum phones are 64 gigs. That takes an awful lot of apps to fill 64 gigs.
Exactly.
Now, there's a way in Android to check all your permissions to see what you've given permission to. In the Apple, it's in settings under privacy. You can see what privacy settings you've set on an app-by-app basis. And you may be surprised about what apps are still installed that have access to your camera or your microphone or your position, your GPS location. That can be a creepy one too.
Right, and it's important to check this stuff periodically. And there are some, things like read and write your calendar or camera. Or phone, manage your phone calls. I have an app that once asked me, "Can I, manage your phone calls?"
I hit an app once asked me if I see you have a Twitter. Can we post stuff on your Twitter feed? I'm like, no,
no. Right now, I do have an app which I absolutely love, and I've used it for years. I don't really need it anymore now that I'm retired, but what it does is it takes every phone call I make or get and records the fact of that phone call in my calendar. So I can go back and say, when I was working, I could go back and say, no, I called you about this on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Very easily.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. I did.
I never got that message.
Yeah, right.
We had a 3.5-minute phone call.
That's exactly right, because it records how long each phone call was as well. Nowadays, it's just me telling my wife I'll be home or her telling me she'll be home, as I'm retired, and it doesn't matter anymore. But I loved that app.
Warning your wife you're coming home.
Right. Get the llamas out, honey. I'm on my way home. It's called Call Track, and I do not know if it's available for iPhone. But wow, was it the most useful program I ever had, on my phone when I was working.
Just Call Track or Call and Message Track?
Mine was Call Track, just Call Track.
Looks like there's a few similar
ones.
There
are similar ones. Call and Message Track does the same thing. But for work, I never messaged anybody. It was always calls because I was working with faculty who barely know how to unlock their doors much. Sorry, excuse me. To all the faculty I don't work with anymore. I don't care. I don't work with you anymore. So
you actually use your phone for making calls?
Right, exactly.
God, you're old.
That's how old they were. Exactly. That's exactly right. So that's a beautiful thing. And I specifically said yes to that particular permission because...
And it puts it all on your calendar?
And it can put it all on your calendar. In fact, I set up a special calendar called Phone. Duh.
Yeah.
And I can, because with different calendars, you can say yes or no to viewing them. So I can view them and see exactly who did what to whom, when, where, and how. And it's not the same as recording a conversation, which on an Android phone you can do with something £4, maybe? I don't remember. But you can record calls easily. But this sort of thing is very stealthy when it's something you don't expect. Nobody expects a game to be tracking you orally. And so,
or orally,
I suppose. Yes. Thank you. And as I said the word orally, I thought to myself, how can I emphasize the AU so Steve doesn't go there? But he's there. He was there before I finished the word. So,
Have you had Umox lately?
I had what?
Umox?
No. Umox?
All our Ferengi friends are going mad.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I've had Ublack, but not Umox, so that's a whole other story.
Is Ublik bomb-proof?
No.
No,
Didn't you
it is
watch
not.
the episode?
Yes, I did.
All right. No, it is not bomb-proof.
You'd think it would be, but it actually makes things worse.
I know, went up to 51 PSI instead of...
10 will kill you.
And 10 will kill you. Well, 10 will damage your lungs. So anything from 10 and up is likely to kill you.
Yeah.
And the higher you go, obviously. 51, yeah, that'll kill you.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take... You don't even know what we're talking about. We're going to take a quick break. Back in just a couple of minutes with Steve Ray, Michael Oden, me, Nick Francesco, and you. It's 20 minutes after the hour. We are Soundbites. It is member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbites.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Would you like a tax deduction for 2017, all while supporting your favorite jazz radio station? When you donate to Jazz 90.1, you get a tax deduction while at the same time you're supporting the great jazz programming you love on Jazz 90.1 and Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues Radio. You can call 966-JAZZ or you can go online to jazz901.org. But you have to donate before the end of the year to get the tax deduction for 2017. Call 966-5299 or visit jazz901.org to make your tax-deductible contribution to Jazz 90.1.
But you and I both know the road is my only true friend.
The late Greg Allman.
If you had problems, you had a bad day, screw it. Pick up your guitar, man. You'd off into another world, you know. I used to think, God, wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody had a tool like that?
Join Greg, Jackson Brown, his manager Michael Lehman, and producer Don Was as we unveil the emotional final album by Greg Allman. It's Greg Allman's Southern Blood, all access.
Monday, January 1st at 6 p.m. on Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues Radio.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Jazz 90.1 weather.
Mostly cloudy and cold today with a bit of snow, leaving a dusting to an inch, the high 15 to 20. However, heavier lake snow later this afternoon into tonight will accumulate 3 to 6 inches on average by Sunday morning. Temperatures will drop back through the teens into the single digits and hold there on Sunday with additional lake snow. There will also be areas of blowing and drifting snow tonight into tomorrow. And New Year's Eve will likely be one of the coldest here on record. I'm Kevin Williams on Jazz 90.1.
It is 19 degrees at the Greater Rochester International Airport, 21 here in Greece at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Everybody get up. This is Rob Linton. Join me weekdays from 4 to 6 on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Steve Ray.
And I'm Michael Oden.
And at 23 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites. And we're delighted to say we have Steve from Greece on the line. I don't know how delighted we'll be after we talk to him, but right now we're pretty delighted. Hi, Steve. What's up?
I think you're going to be ecstatic, as I really do.
I knew it was you.
First of all, a slightly premature Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
The Google's meeting, I think you really need to tell people once they pull in how to find it, because my first time I was all over the place because I had no idea where to go.
Well, we kept moving as you kept getting closer to us.
Pardon?
Nothing. Go ahead. Yeah, it's St. John's. I forget the name of the building. Do you remember the name of the specific building?
Well, basically basically, I mean, you can tell them just when you pull in, turn right. It's the first building on the left.
Yeah, that's true. First driveway on the left, and then the building is on the left of the driveway. So, yeah, if you come into St. John's main entrance there and turn right as you come around the first driveway on the left, you'll almost pass it by because it's semi-hidden. But it's there, and that's the building right there. And then you can ask at the desk because they know where we are. But then if you come in the main doors, we're around to the left. And then you'll be facing the mailboxes, and then it's a right. We're essentially behind the mailboxes. So if you go right and then left, and that's where we are. So if you walk in if you come in the main entrance, turn right, first driveway on the left. When you go in the main doors, turn left, you're facing the mailboxes, and we're essentially behind them.
Yep. I had a tough time finding it the first time, but after that, it's obviously been...
Soundbite, your name is?
Yeah. Well, we all did, actually, that very first time.
Where are you from?
I don't remember the name of the building itself, and I should. It's probably somewhere on the... it's probably somewhere on the...
facade or something.
Yeah, it's likely to be on the Facebook page, but I can't get to the Facebook page, of course, which is the way it works here. When you're in a school, they often block that stuff.
Ah, yes.
So yeah, and we have about the community. Will that tell me something? It doesn't say. Jerry, if you're listening, call in and tell us what building it's in. Anybody who knows what building it's in. I just don't remember the name of the building. But it like Steve said, it's the first turn right when you come in the entrance, first left, that building right on the left. There you are.
Your name is?
Okie doke.
Okay, doke. Thank you very much, guys. Happy New Year.
Thanks. You too, Steve. See you Thursday.
Yep. All right.
There we go. The group changes regularly. Some weeks we have guest stars from out of town, but we have a number of people who work pretty regularly, who show up pretty regularly, and it's a good group of people, and we have lots of interesting stuff going on. And now back to the phones. Our next caller is Ken from Rochester. Not Ken from Rochester, New York. Hiya, Ken. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Peachy, how are you?
Hey, doing excellent, I guess. I got a Chromebook.
Good for you.
Yeah. I'm having a lot of trouble with my Chromebook.
Okay.
Because, when you get in the password, I always forget my password. But is there a way that you can remember the password right on the machine?
No, it will not do that, and that's a security feature. But do you have an Android phone?
No.
Okay, then never mind. There is a way to.
It's just a regular phone that I got.
Yeah, if you had for those listening, if you have an Android phone, there's a way to hook it to connect it to your Chromebook, so that if the phone is unlocked, the Chromebook will be unlocked. But what you're going to have to do is remember that password, Ken. There's no help for that. Google doesn't even give you the option because it is a security feature.
And it's even hard to recover a forgotten password from Google.
Yeah.
Right.
And there is no.
I wonder because I thought there was a way to do it because I'm bad where when you put the password in, I have a hard time to remembering the password. And I thought there was another way to do it. I do have a VTech phone, but really that might not really help it, right?
Right. Not necessarily.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that one password to log in to the Chromebook itself, you have to remember. It will remember your website passwords in the Chrome browser.
Right.
But that one master, that's so somebody just doesn't walk up to your computer and get all your passwords.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, if you remember it, like I did on a couple of them, I remember it, but they're saying that you have to get a new one, not the same one over again.
Right. If you try to reset it, you can't use one you've used previously because it might be suspect. Yeah. You don't have to make it a complex, uppercase, left elbow, $6 sign. It can be, 2 or 3 words, as long as it is something easy for you to remember. You just don't want it to be a single word that someone could attack with a dictionary, for example. 2 or 3 unrelated words, maybe a number in the middle. So it doesn't have to be complex. It just has to be long. We're finding out that long is better than complex.
Mm-hmm. So you can put 3 words on one, and then a number, and then 3 words again?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll try that and see what happens.
Yeah, good luck. I'm sorry. They're very security conscious, and because that one thing unlocks everything on your Chrome and on your Google account, they're very careful about it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what word or anything to put in when you get the 3 words?
It could be 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter what that word is. Right. It's best if it's not easily guessed.
Right.
That's why you try to use unrelated words.
Right. You don't want it to be Ken 1 2 3 Ken.
Right.
Right. But some
tree,
any word,
dog, horse, 25.
Right. Doesn't matter.
Okay. We'll try that one.
Yep. Good luck.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Let me write that
Bye-bye.
down. Tree, dog, horse, 25 is what I said. So
yeah, right.
if we run into Ken, we'll try that.
We'll try that. It is very true that everybody hates passwords. Everybody hates them. They are still the way most people get into their computers, and you just have to remember a password. That's all.
And it isn't your fault. It's the other end that has made this such a problem. There are the 5 billion pwned accounts. There was the 100 million lost at Target and 100 million lost at Home Depot and 50 million lost at Equifax. So the other end loses your password, and you don't want to use the same passwords you do on Amazon that you do on PayPal or that you did at Target, because now your Target password has been lost, and the bad guys know that password.
Right.
And they will try it on Amazon and PayPal and Citibank and see if it works.
Right. You can write a program that will try to log into all of those and report whether or not it was successful. So you plug it in once, hit the button, and just sit back.
Yep.
It's real easy to do. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Amy from Greece, New York. Hi, Amy. What's up?
Hi there. Well, I had a question on what you were doing on the Alfonso thing, but I did a Google search while I was waiting. What came up said Max Lowenthal Hall, Building 12.
No, that's at RIT.
That's old.
That's the real old one.
Yeah,
That's the one at RIT.
Yeah, that hasn't been updated yet.
Oh,
actually, yeah, the Google group hasn't been updated in a very long time. The Facebook page is only a month old, or 2 months old.
Right.
Okay. All right. You were talking about Alfonso.
Yeah.
I grabbed you started talking, and I grabbed the pad, but not fast enough, and short-term memory being what it isn't. How did you spell Alfonso again?
ALPHONSO.
Oh, I did have it right. How about that?
AL.
And you said New York Times went looking for Alfonso Automated?
Well, they looked for Alfonso Automated and Alfonso Software.
Doggone, I actually wrote it down right. How about that? Okay.
I don't believe it. I'm sorry, Andy.
What caught my mind was when you said balloons, because having the grandkids, they like that balloon game.
Yep.
So I need to go start checking some things to make sure that microphones aren't turned on.
Is it Zap Balloons?
Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
It just says balloons. It's on the iPad my wife has, and you bring it up, and the 2-year-old was sitting there popping away on the balloons.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, check it out and check what permissions it's using and everything else, because that will tell you what's going on.
Okay, yeah, I'll warn my son and daughter-in-law, too, because they have it on their iPhones, because the kids like playing with it. So, all righty. Well, thank you very much.
Sure. No, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have fun.
I used to have an app called Bubble Wrap that would let you pop the bubble wrap.
Oh, yeah. Great app.
I found some bubble wrap the other day. I went to pop, and it didn't make any noise. I was so disappointed.
That's illegal.
And how do they engineer bubble wrap that doesn't make a noise when you pop it?
That's evil. That is just evil. That is the most evil thing I have ever heard. Wow. There's the fall of civilization right there.
Yeah, so I had to go find some other ones that did make a noise.
Yeah, of course you did.
I was upset.
That's right.
Like
Somebody makes a fidget thing that has bubble wrap.
Oh, yeah? How about a fidget spinner that doesn't actually spin?
It's not a spinner. It's just a fidget toy. It's a cube. It's a fidget cube.
Now, if it could reinflate itself and you just wrap around,
yeah.
And
well, these are actually push buttons, so that it looks like it feels like bubble wrap, and when you push it, it feels like you've done it, but it pops back up again.
Cute.
So you do it again. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Tim from Webster, New York. Tim, what's up?
Yeah, hi guys. I was just wondering where you guys see the net neutrality thing going from here. I was kind of hoping you would open the debate for just a moment and talk about the pros of net, or the strongest pro argument for net neutrality, and how you feel. What is the strongest argument against that? I've always been kind of a libertarian at heart, so when it comes to government regulation, I've struggled with it, but I recognize corporate greed, and I recognize the problems when some things are not regulated, so I've struggled with this.
Right.
And I was just wondering, where do you think it's going from here? And I support your guys' views on it, but I would love to hear, what do you feel is the strongest argument on the opposition, and why, and what you feel defeats that argument best?
All right, here's the deal. Net neutrality said that all traffic on the internet was equal.
And the regulation was to prevent ISPs from treating it otherwise.
Right.
So, and regulation is one of those hot topic words. We don't want government regulation. We're not regulating the internet. We're telling ISPs don't screw the internet.
Now, the reason that the government repealed net neutrality was ostensibly because internet service providers did not feel they could make enough money under the rule that everybody was equal. They want to be able to charge. For example, Spectrum feels it is perfectly reasonable that they should charge Netflix more money to provide their service on Spectrum's internet because they compete with Netflix. And so they feel that if Netflix is their competitor, they should charge it more than, say, I don't know, Fred's website traffic coming over. And so what that ends up with, of course, is that you will end up paying more to Netflix.
Right, yep.
The previous administration's argument was that the internet is now a significant engine of commerce, and that having a level playing field meant that startups had an equal chance to get ahead.
And now we have companies like Netflix and YouTube and Hulu,
all of whom benefited from net neutrality in building their companies. And now what is happening is, if I start up a service that would in any way compete with any of the internet service providers, they have the right now to charge me more to be on their network.
And part of the problem is the internet providers are also content providers.
Right.
And the new, in essence, lack of regulation is that the ISPs will disclose what they're doing ahead of time when they do something bad. Apparently.
Theoretically, they will, but there is no law that says they must.
Right. And many ISPs have been caught in the past doing things like blocking FaceTime. AT&T was caught blocking FaceTime because they were selling their own video conferencing solution. And
or slowing down Netflix because they compete with Netflix.
Comcast owns NBC, and you should be watching NBC, not Netflix. What was the other big one with BitTorrent? A lot of places will block BitTorrent because a lot of it is illegal, but not all of it. And there was a big case where one of the, I think it was Associated Press, was trying to download the Bible, and was getting blocked and slowed down because he was not.
Because he was using BitTorrent.
He was using BitTorrent and not using a different service.
Right.
So the ISPs have been doing shady things for all along, and when they get caught, there's very little penalty involved. And so that was what the regulations were put in place to do, is penalize them for doing bad things.
How are these notifications supposed to be happening?
Nobody knows. They're not. They're also not regulated.
It'll be little tiny fine print under a policy on some corporate webpage you'll never look at.
Oh, there won't be like a small pop-up or something telling
No.
Oh, my gosh.
No, they could put an ad in the Podunk seed catalog. Weekly.
We disclosed it.
It. That's all.
And some of the things that are happening are tough to explain because they sound good. Like one of the cell phone carriers. If you watch Netflix, it doesn't count towards your data plan. Well, that sounds good. But if you watch Hulu, it does count towards your data plan. So they're charging you extra to watch Hulu.
Right.
And then another carrier is doing it the opposite way. So charging you extra for a service that they're not charging extra for a competing service, we think is bad. We want the net to be neutral. Everything should be the same.
Right. And none of this will change under the current administration. So as long as the Republicans hold the presidency, the House, and the Senate, these rules will not change.
And the billions of dollars, I'm trying to find the exact number, the billions of dollars that the lobbyists from AT&T, Verizon, the other ISPs have paid to Congress people is just ridiculous.
Yeah, and I understand that. The part where I got lost is you said under the new administration. I thought what happened in the past month or two did cause a reversal.
Right. The old administration was the Obama administration. They had net neutrality. The current administration removed net neutrality.
So now ISPs can overcharge you as much as they want as long as they disclose it.
And as long as this current Republican administration is in power, right, that will never change.
No, I did understand that then. So what do you foresee happening that is going to impact everyone?
I see prices, well, already all of the large ISPs have announced rate hikes.
Oh, okay.
Even though they all, of course, promised they wouldn't do that if net neutrality were removed. They've all announced that. In addition, I see as time goes on, you'll be paying more and more and more for things like Netflix and Hulu and YouTube and everything else that is now being charged more itself by the internet service providers who don't own them.
And we may never get the next Netflix or the next YouTube or the next big thing on the internet because they can't afford to
right. And
have
the
you pay more.
right.
Yeah.
And the real point behind net neutrality was that innovation thing.
Yeah.
Charging by the type of traffic stifles innovation.
Yes, I agree. I understand what you're saying.
But on their side, they were saying that net neutrality was stifling innovation, and we can't spend money to build out infrastructure because we're hampered by net neutrality.
Although every year
they spend more and more.
They spend more and more and more millions of dollars building out there.
And the CEO of Verizon said on public record during an SEC announcement that net neutrality has not stopped them from spending money outfitting their
See, the thing
service.
You always have to look at are the SEC filings. That is the only place by law that they may not lie. And if they do, they are fined billions.
Okay.
So always look at the SEC filings. We got to take a break.
Thanks, guys.
Yep, back in just a couple of minutes. Steve Ray, Michael Oden, me, Nick Francesco, and you, 43 minutes after the hour. Soundbites member-supported Jazz 90.1.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Sound Bites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Before you call into our show, please make note of the following rules. 1, turn your radio down. 2, turn your radio down lower. 3. Remember, nobody has invented a good-sounding speakerphone yet. Don't use them. 4. Make sure you have a point. It makes for a more interesting show. 5. Calling does not guarantee you'll get on the air. No whining. 6. If you do get on the air, please do not tell the host what you just told the screener. We don't care. And 7. Is that radio turned down yet? We hope this will make for a more enjoyable program, and we thank you for your time.
And now, your Jazz 90.1 weather.
My son Aiden has asthma. Secondhand smoke has triggered his asthma so badly, he ended up in the emergency room and spent multiple nights in intensive care. Now he's on a whole bunch of medications. My tip to you is, don't be shy about telling people not to smoke around your kids.
Half of U.S. kids are exposed to secondhand smoke. If you or someone you know wants help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
What's small, attractive, and worth lots of money? It's the Jazz 90.1 member card, and now it's worth more than ever with the addition of 35 wineries to the list of restaurants, stores, and other businesses in the Rochester area, discounting prices exclusively to members of Jazz 90.1. You can even use your card when you travel in the United States. It's a great way to reward yourself, all while supporting Jazz 90.1. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Get one by making a pledge of support at the $90.10 level and above to Jazz 90.1. For more information on becoming a member, you can call 966-5299 or make a donation online at jazz901.org.
Mostly cloudy and cold today with a bit of snow, leaving a dusting to an inch, the high 15 to 20. However, heavier lake snow later this afternoon into tonight will accumulate 3 to 6 inches on average by Sunday morning. Temperatures will drop back through the teens into the single digits and hold there on Sunday with additional lake snow. There will also be areas of blowing and drifting snow tonight into tomorrow. And New Year's Eve will likely be one of the coldest here on record. I'm Kevin Williams on Jazz 90.1.
It is 19 degrees at the Greater Rochester International Airport, 21 here in Greece at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, I'm Jim McGrath, host of the Blues Spectrum. I hope you can tune in this Sunday evening from 7 until 9 for some of the best blues around here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Steve Ray.
And I'm Michael Oden.
And at 46 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bytes, and we have Tom from Brighton, New York on the line. Hiya, Tom. What's up?
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon. Got a iPhone 5. And it's been working just fine until very recently when, even after it's well charged up, it'll run, for a while. And then very suddenly the charge will drop from 100% down to like 70 and then 50 and then lower. So it'll discharge very rapidly at a certain point. Is that simply an indication that the battery is going, or is, and also is the iPhone 5 eligible for that battery upgrade that Apple recently announced for older phones?
No, the iPhone 5 is currently not included in that. And yes, that is a common symptom of battery consumption. So basically, when you get your battery, 100% is 8 hours. As the battery is consumed and wears out, 100% might be 10 minutes. So that can drop very, very quickly. The other problem could be a runaway process, some program running in the background eating the battery. There have been problems with Facebook and Skype and things like that sitting in the background waiting for something to happen and running your battery down. Okay. So one thing to check is quit all the apps, reboot the phone, and see if it happens again. You can bring your phone into the Apple Store or a independent third-party Apple service provider.
Such as Mac
Ave, yeah.
Unbelievable.
We can do a battery test on the phone to see if the battery is consumed. Battery replacement is between $80 and $100 depending on the phone. For an iPhone 5, that may not be worth putting that much money into.
Well, we did get the phone. It was already refurbished. We got it about, I think it was in 2015. So we've had almost 3 years of use out of it. I assume it was used several years earlier than that, obviously. Yeah, so you're saying it's a little under $100 for a battery replacement or else just upgrade to a different phone.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Apple on the letter they put out talks a lot about the chemistry of batteries.
Right.
And they just wear out. But we're used to batteries wearing out and replacing them ourselves. That's what's getting annoying now. Even laptops now don't have user replaceable batteries anymore.
Right. This one actually still does. I don't know about the new Chromebooks, but I can take the back off and the battery's in there. Although it's not. There's no door.
It's not a door
that
like it used
easy.
to be,
Right.
There was there was an interesting thing with a new airline problem regulation. A lot of bags now have, and suitcases now have batteries in them, so you can charge your phone from your suitcase, or the suitcase will have a GPS tracker in it. There's even a suitcase that has a little motor that you then ride your suitcase over the airport. Airlines are now banning those batteries from checked baggage.
Right.
So you have to take the battery out of the bag and carry it with you on the plane, which makes me think, what happens if there's a problem there? You're not going to open the door and throw it out.
Well, but that's we got on one of the flights I took this last week. Somebody got on with a steward, got on the phone and said, on the PA, and said, among the many other announcements, please remove all lithium-ion batteries from your electronic devices.
Right.
An entire plane full of people looked up from their phones and then just looked back down and kept on working.
And ignored them, yeah.
Ignored them. And I thought, wow, okay.
I understand they don't want to have a fire in the cargo hold, but if there's a fire in the passenger cabin, I guess you can do a little bit more about it.
Well, but, they've got fire extinguishers and yada yada yada, so maybe.
So these suitcase companies need to retool now, so to make those batteries removable,
right,
or to make them small enough. There's a limit where you don't have to do the battery removal.
Right.
Was it 500 watt hours or
whatever it is?
Like
yeah. But it is a problem. That's why they're also looking at all those new battery technologies.
Yep.
You were talking about the one that could cut up while it was actually running
with a solid electrolyte, so that it's not flammable and doesn't expand.
Well, somebody was doing a set of YouTube videos where they would pound nails into batteries and do all kinds of horrible things to them and watch them flame up and explode and, that sort of fare. And, yeah, I get it. If you actually pound the nail through your phone, it will probably catch fire.
Yep.
Yes. Congratulations. You learned that.
We have to take a battery safety class as part of our service training. And one of the things that they say is if you drop the battery, dispose of it. Don't use it again. Because that sharp impact can set up these chain reactions that can cause problems in batteries.
I've dropped my phone probably 1,000 times.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
The back, because I have a replaceable battery, the back pops off and the battery pops out.
Mm-hmm.
But that pulls most of the force of impact away from the screen, and I've never broken my screen.
Yeah.
But all that force actually goes into popping the back in the battery. But what you're saying is I should have thrown away that battery years ago.
Just to be safe.
Yeah. No phone, no electronic device ever has successfully passed the patented Francesco drop test, except my Galaxy S5.
We were at a dinner party for my sister's birthday last night, and
happy birthday, sis!
Happy birthday, sister! And people were taking pictures, and so one woman, I just climbed on top of a chair to take an overhead shot of the whole table. The guy at the next table got up and offered to take a picture so she could be in it, and so everyone's handing him phones, and he drops mine, catches it before it hits, it gets too far away from him, and like the whole restaurant applauds.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that, because you've got an iPhone. It probably would have been a real problem. But yeah,
and he was standing on a chair, so it would have fallen like 10 feet.
You're right.
That 2-foot fall to a carpeted floor is probably okay.
Right.
10-foot fall onto
oh, no,
tile.
I don't think I've ever dropped my phone on a carpeted surface. I don't think ever, ever. But yeah, and I usually drop it from table height or higher.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting to me is the new screen technologies that are foldable.
Yeah.
So theoretically, if you can fold a screen, you're unlikely to break it by dropping.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's going to be a flexible enough technology to handle the stresses of dropping. Theoretically, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen any of them yet, right?
Yeah.
But theoretically, you would think that. And if you can combine that with the new solid-state batteries, if that's the proper term, you might have something that really would be much more difficult to catch fire. And I'm sure Samsung is going to jump on that in a hot New York minute.
Yep.
Samsung, theoretically, this coming month, I forget whether it's the second or third week, will be at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. And theoretically, that's when people show all the new stuff. So CES 2018.
That you'll be able to buy for Christmas.
They'll be able to buy for next Christmas, exactly right. And it's the international CES, I think, this time, and I don't know where it is. Oh, it's in Vegas. Vegas, baby! All right, that music tells me that I can finally shut the hell up and we can all go home. That's it for another week.
Not me, I can't go home.
No, not you, because you're going to be here with George playing the best German music you'll hear all week. Don't go away. Michael is here to keep him on the straight and narrow, and this is the end of the last show of 2017. We'll be back next week, which is also next year, and we will be here with a whole lot more of the longest-running computer show in the known universe, the Sound Bytes on the truly great, and thanks to you, solely member-supported Jazz 90.1. Thank you. May all of you have a happy, safe, joy-filled, and peaceful new year. And we will see you next week and next year in just 166 hours. Be good to each other.
Here are the Jazz 90.1 Club Calendar highlights for Saturday, December 30th. Fred Costello and Roger Ecker's jazz duo performs tonight at 7:30 until 10 o'clock. Special Blend is at Horizons Lounge at Woodcliff, 7:30 to 11:30. Mel Henderson performs at Mendon 64 Restaurant. That's from 6:30 till 8:30 this evening. Harvey Bartolo will be at Prosecco's in Farmington 6 till 9, and Nate Coffey entertains at Via Girasoli Wine Bar in Pittsford 7 till 10. If you're looking for blues, Dave Riccioni and Friends will be at Abilene at Liberty Pole Way starting at 9 o'clock this evening. Johnny Rawls and the Love Machine will be at the Dinosaur Barbecue on Court Street starting at 9. Listen for Club Calendar highlights 4 times daily on Jazz 90.1. For more Club Calendar information, you may visit jazz901.org. For Jazz 90.1, I'm Joelle Van Buren.
Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues Radio celebrates the life of Greg Allman on New Year's Day. First at 6 p.m., we present a special hour-long look at the life of Greg, hosted by Dan Meir.
I see you watching me like a hawk.
Following that special, we present a concert by the Greg Allman Band with special guests Scott Sherrard, Lamar Williams, Junior Mack, and Devon Allman from the Laid Back Fest that took place in October of 2017. Join us New Year's Day starting at 6 p.m. for this very special event on Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues Radio.
You see me walking as I pass you by. Don't talk about me, 'cause I couldn't be high.
Do you want to learn English? Visit usalearns.org. Our website offers hundreds of interesting videos and educational activities for learning English online. More than 7 million people around the world have used USA Learns to increase their job opportunities and improve their lives. Use your computer, laptop, or tablet and start learning English today at usalearns.org.
You might not know everyone in your community, but if you did, you'd see that people in recovery from mental and substance use disorders are all around. Reach out for support and begin your recovery journey. Join the Voices for Recovery. Strengthen families and communities.
For confidential information on mental and substance use disorders, including prevention and treatment referrals for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
WGMC Greece Rochester, a public service of the Greece Central School District, Jazz 90.1.
On Facebook at Jazz 901 FM.
As 2017 winds down, bitter cold is gripping a large swath of the nation. Meteorologist Bruce Sullivan says the frigid air has descended on the Midwest.
Currently have a high pressure system that's building southeastward from the northern plains. Temperatures